Reserve Officer Training Corps, San Diego, arriving. Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps, San Diego, arriving. Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps, San Diego, arriving. Naval Supply Systems Command, arriving. Parade the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem will be performed by an NROTC San Diego commissionee, Soraya Marzuki.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched first so gallantly stream, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Host the colors. At this time, the invocation will be delivered by Father Robert Capone, Honorary Chaplain for NROTC San Diego.
Psalm 130. My soul is waiting for the Lord. I count on his word. My soul is longing for the Lord more than watchmen for daybreak, more than sentinels awaiting the dawn. Let us pray. O God of promise, these young women and men have worked and watched for this day, the day we celebrate accomplishments of the past and their commissioning for future responsibilities. O God of the covenants, may they trust in you, their training, education, and one another as they fulfill their duties. O God of hosts, keep those to be commissioned watchful in prayer and vigilant in the defense of our country and its most enduring values. Grant them the courage to pass through their own fears in serving the common good. As they watch over others, may they have your strength and protection. O God of justice, grant wisdom and perspective to world leaders and all those who oversee us and our service as we await a new dawn of peace. O God, source of all blessings, we pray for all the people who have helped bring us to this day. Teachers and trainers, veterans and recruiters, parents and friends. We praise you in our expressing our gratitude for them and by invoking your presence as we gather. Amen.
3,500 active and reserve Supply Corps officers and more than 23,000 active and reserve supply enlisted personnel. As a Navy Supply Corps officer and joint logistician, he's deployed across the globe in submarines, amphibious assault ships, aircraft carriers, and operational staffs. Prior to assuming command of NAVSUP, he served as the Director of Logistics, J4 at U.S. European Command. He served as Director, Supply Ordnance Logistics Operations on the Office of the Chief of Naval Operations, N41 in Washington, D.C., and as the Fleet Supply Officer on the staff of Commander, United States Fleet Forces Command. He's participated in the Cold War, Operation Desert Storm, Southern Watch, Determined Resolve, Enduring Freedom, and non-combatant evacuation of American citizens from Lebanon. Rear Admiral Stamatopoulos earned a bachelor's degree in business from the University of San Diego and received his commission in 1988 through the Navy ROTC program. He holds a master's degree from the Naval Postgraduate School and is a graduate of the Columbia University Senior Executive Program. Welcome, Admiral Stamatopoulos.
All right, good morning, and thank you very much, Captain Nolan, for your introduction and your warm welcome back to my alma mater, the University of San Diego and the Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps Unit, where my military journey began. Up front, I want to thank you, sir, very much. Colonel Grimm, also Major Heath, thank you for joining us today, for your strong leadership and guidance to your cadets and your midshipmen. I also want to recognize the ROTC staff members for the daily support that you provide to your units. Thank you for your dedication and your hard work. It's an honor and it's a great pleasure to be among what will soon be our nation's newest commissioned officers of the Joint Force and their fellow shipmates, sailors, Marines, soldiers, airmen, civil servants, university professors, friends, and most importantly, your family members, of which my mom's in the audience as well. Thanks, Mom, for being here. We're all gathered here this morning on this mighty warship, which stands as a tall symbol of the honor, courage, and commitment of the men and women in uniform service across planet Earth, past, present, many of whom are here among us today. It is truly a privilege to be here. I'd also like to add my respects to the distinguished guest acknowledged by your commanding officer just now. We are humbled by your participation here today. It is both a tribute to these hardworking young men and women, and also a compelling testimony to your dedication as leaders and mentors. We are deeply honored by your presence. Thank you very much. There is something very invigorating about being on the cusp of deep change, and I'm so pleased and thankful to be a part of your day of transformation, this commissioning, which certainly marks the most significant professional transition in your lives so far. You have every right to be proud of what you've accomplished. I hope you sense the same exhilaration that I feel for you as you embark on what will be a new series of challenges and adventures which have no parallel in the civilian world. We are in an era of strategic competition, and military leadership is relying on you to lead starting now. Today is day one for each one of you. Earlier this week, while I was in Hawaii, I stood aboard the USS Missouri, battleship 6040, whose deck served as the signing stage that ended World War II. As I peered over the USS Arizona National Memorial across Pearl Harbor, I could see in the distance the profile of a Navy warship, the newest commissioned ship in the fleet, DDG-118, the USS Daniel Inouye. The future of Navy presence, power, and lethality. The ship and her crew is ready to assume a critical mission, the defense and the safeguarding of the well-being and interests of our nation. This also is a warship where some of you will soon serve aboard. After some reflection, as I stood on the deck of the Missouri, a single theme emerged that I believe best defines what this day represents for these newly commissioned officers. And that is the long-term paradigm shift from a personal challenge of preparing for individual professional success to something far greater. So let me explain. For many of you, until today, the focus of your life largely has been on you, your success, your education, your GPA, your finals, your performance here at NROTC, and your orders. The sum total of your energy, efforts, and anxiety has, until now, been focused on achieving the goal of the reality that operational success is paramount, and your role in support of that endeavor cannot be overstated. And if you bear with me, I'd like to distill this just a little bit further and define that role for you. At the most basic level, your immediate mission is to completely master the functions of your platoon, your company, your department and division, to become the best watchstander you can be, and to earn your warfare qualifications without delay. These are the individual achievements that will position you to meet your commitments to the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines, and enable you to deliver quality contributions within the operational context. If you lose focus on the mission at the operational or personal level, then I can assure you nothing in your resume, your educational background, or your previous military record, none of it will overcome the inattentive or self-centered junior officer. So again, rule number one, it's all about the mission. Number two, know and use the references. You as junior officers must do the details. And why do I say that? Let's think about who does what. For example, on a ship, the commanding officer drives, navigates, leads, and communicates the mission. His or her responsibilities dwarf yours to such an extent that a valid comparison is virtually impossible. The executive officer or the chief of staff manages the day-to-day life and routine of the units you will serve in. The seasoned department heads are the chief warfighters, the linchpins to operational success, who juggle time and resources across sea, air, land, and now cyber and space warfighting domains to integrate and synchronize events. As junior officers, you will likely be serving your initial tour as a division officer aboard a ship, submarine, or squadron, as a pilot, or as a platoon leader in the infantry, or perhaps in the special operations unit. So it's fair to ask, what do you know? The critical question is, how will you cope? First of all, I hope you paid attention here at your university in your ROTC classes and during your summer experience tours. The professors and ROTC instructors have invested a lot of time and energy to expand your knowledge and teach you some invaluable skills, such as how to conduct yourself in the pilot house or in a platoon formation, how to manage a damage control problem, the basics of navigation at sea or on the land, how to understand complex science, mathematics, engineering, and management schemes that are so intrinsically part of our business today, how to deal with the daily challenges of time and resource management, and how to conduct yourself in complex leadership and management situations. The quality of your education and ROTC instruction here has been superb. I can tell you that from my perspective as a senior joint officer, you have every reason to be confident in what you have learned. And now it's time to put that knowledge and those skills to work. And remember, as you weave what you have learned into your routine, you are layering the experience that will serve as the key to your success throughout your career. And you will be constructing the foundation of your future contributions to your service, to the joint force, and your country. As officers and professionals, you are chartered to make sure your products are completed and delivered in accordance with current standards. It is the hardest thing that you will do, but it is also the easiest. Hard because it takes time. It requires unbending commitment and reinforcement. Hard because it is not always popular with sailors, soldiers, airmen, and Marines. But it's easy because it is all there in the doctrine, the publications, the instructions that will always be at your fingerprint. Lean heavily on the references that you came to know during your shared ROTC experience. You must also know your brigade, your squadron, your ship's organizational manuals, the commanding officer's standing orders, and the pertinent instructions from higher headquarters and above. Consider that one of the more advantageous aspects of your existence as military leaders is this: regardless of the task, challenge, or problem, there is a strong probability that there is a manual or an instruction on the shelf somewhere that explains everything you need to know. So remember that. How do you put all of that into practice? By insisting on procedural compliance from your troops and your non-commissioned officers. How we have always done it may not be right. It may not be safe. So find it in the reference. Another way to put this into practice is to develop exquisite personal watchstanding and TTP skills. For the first time you fail to follow any standing orders or waive a requirement without your commanding officer's permission, or fail to use a standard operating procedure, you've lost every blue jacket, trooper, sergeant, chief petty officer that works for you. So be sure to know and use the references. And if you can't find it in a reference or it simply doesn't exist, you should never hesitate to reach out to the human references at your disposal. I can think of no scenario where a fellow junior officer would ever refuse advice or assistance to a struggling shipmate or young officer in need of help. So number 2, reiterated, know and use the references. Number 3, develop your empathy for your subordinates, of course, and we will get to that shortly, but also for your department heads, your fellow division officers, the executive officers of your units, and the COs as well. Why do I say that? One of my favorite aphorisms is, my problem isn't the same as the boss's problem, even though it looks exactly the same. So look, you won't necessarily know what the department head's problems are, how he or she is getting along with the chiefs of staff, or whether he or she is distracted by one of the innumerable responsibilities that lie outside your field of view. Everyone throughout any organization, even the best ones, is subject to stress, emotions, and issues that occasionally influence their levels of patience and tolerance. So if your department head is short with you, give him or her the benefit of the doubt. Help them with the facts, what you know to be true. Do not assume that they always have the answers at hand. Be judicious and supportive, and don't forget that the department head's success is your success as well. Your commanding officer has to get it right 100% of the time. In every contact situation, every gun exercise, every dangerous evolution, and in every firefight. At some point, he or she will be wrong. So now, as you soon-to-be officers of the deck, platoon leaders, pilots in command, have you built the kind of relationship with your CO that will let you help him or her be right 100% of the time? Does the CO or the department head know you to be trustworthy, on the ball when on watch or on patrol, aware of the standard operating procedures and rules of engagement, able to get the job done and supportive enough of the mission to know that you're actually helping? Does the commanding officer know that you are committed to the mission and that you know where the references are? It's all about the mission and knowing how to use the references. An exceptional junior officer will have empathy for others in his or her unit in a way that will help facilitate everyone's success. The same is true for those who work for you. Everyone is entitled to a bad day. Will you be empathetic, helpful, understanding of your subordinates when they're not up to the task? There is a stark difference between a bad day and willful disobedience or disregard for standards and conventions. In my experience, and despite what you might think, COs and XOs are incredibly forgiving to junior officers when they have an off day. You must offer the same consideration to your soldiers and sailors. The secret to that is good communications with them. Make sure you get to the bottom of issues and not just the ones when someone is having a bad day. I'm talking about a mistake with the equipment or the professional administration errors that you may encounter. You will more quickly solve problems if you communicate effectively, empathize when appropriate, and demonstrate your commitment to the mission and the references. So rule number 3, be sure to have some empathy. Number 4, integrity. It's the gold standard. All too often we read in newspaper articles or find on social media about officers who've engaged in misconduct. As you well know, it takes many forms: personal, financial, professional, etc. When this occurs, there's usually a strong reaction in high places to implement process changes that will make recurrences impossible. But the hard reality is this: there is no process improvement that completely eliminates the possibility of human malfeasance. So my final and most important rule is very general. By the virtue of the fact that you've completed advanced education, have succeeded in a very demanding curriculum at your university and ROTC, and are moments from being commissioned an officer in the armed services, I think it's safe to assume you have the intelligence and the grounding to understand the basics of right and wrong. So I strongly urge you to reflect on this very seriously. There is a huge difference between making a procedural error and performing a calculated act of dishonesty. Your references and mentors can assist you when you make honest professional mistakes as described in rule number 2, the references. Know and use them. But please remember, there is no rule that will save you from lapses in integrity. Your professional reputation will forever be deeply connected to your character. And if you retain nothing else that I've told you today, please remember that. And as Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, the force of character is cumulative. So think about that. Your reputation, your personal brand is a dynamic and living entity. It grows or diminishes with every action you take. It is an unscientific, aggregated assessment of your human interactions and personal conduct. It's the most indispensable element in your professional life, and it must be preserved and protected at all costs. Your service has developed and protected core values that, if observed and adhered to, will serve as daily reminders of what we as officers and leaders are all about. For the Navy, honor, courage, and commitment are far more than simple buzzwords. I encourage you to use them as moral buoys that will keep you fair and in the channel in your career and in your life. They represent a precious gift from your service to you, a gift that you will most certainly keeps on giving. So rule number 4, one more time with emphasis: integrity is and will always be the highest standard. So that's about it. 4 simple rules. 1, it's all about the mission. 2, know and use the references. 3, develop empathy. And 4, integrity above all. And if you remember those rules, you will fulfill your professional obligations to your ship, your battalion, your division, and your nation. So let collective success be your success. One cannot happen without the other. And that is the essence of being an officer and a professional. It is the salient difference between your life up to now and the life you're about to embark on. So with that, congratulations on your personal accomplishments over the past years, and I wish you all the best as you begin an incredibly challenging and rewarding career in the service of your country. Now get ready for all the real challenges that you're about to embark on. I know you will lead, and you will all meet the mission. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you.
Now is the time our commissionees have been working toward for many years. They will take their oaths as ensigns in the Navy and second lieutenants in the Army, Marine Corps, and Air Force. The oath of office will be administered by Rear Admiral Stamatopoulos. Following the oath, each commissionee will receive their appointment of commission from Rear Admiral Stamatopoulos. Personnel to be commissioned. Attention! Rear Admiral Stamatopoulos will now administer the commissioning oath.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mark Chilton. I, Charles Roeder. I, Eugene Panucci. I, R.M.L. Coney. I, Sean Bucaria. I, David Allen Powell.
I, Ryan Murphy.
I, Danny McCoy. I, Jacob Michael. I, Gabriel Pass. I, Brandon Rosick. I, George Stamatopoulos. I, Garrett Thompson. I, Tom Brown. I, Kendrick Wiggins. I, Christopher Collandini. I, Justin Joust. I, Donovan Duvall.
I, Jennifer Fernandez.
I, Jose Sanchez. I, Andrew Byrd. I, Hang-Yan Huang.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear
to support and defend
to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same,
that
I take this oath of office freely, without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully carry out the duties of this office
of
of which I am about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help God!
The commissionees will now be pinned as ensigns and second lieutenants by the San Diego officer instructors, and Rear Admiral Stamatopoulos will award the appointment of commission. Second Lieutenant Jenna Fernandez attended San Diego State University, majoring in kinesiology with a fitness specialist emphasis and minoring in military science. Following commissioning, Second Lieutenant Fernandez will report to Quartermaster Basic Officer Leadership Course in Fort Lee, Virginia. Second Lieutenant Jose Sanchez attended San Diego State University, majoring in social work with a specialization in correctional case management.
Ready, set. Right, face.
Second Lieutenant Andrew Byrne attended San Diego State University, majoring in computer engineering. Second Lieutenant Garrett Thompson attended San Diego State University, majoring in aerospace engineering and minoring in aerospace studies. Ensign Thomas Brown attended California State University San Marcos, majoring in economics and graduating cum laude. Following commissioning, Ensign Brown will report to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Kendrick Claggett attended University of San Diego, majoring in mechanical engineering, minoring in naval science, and graduating cum laude. Following commissioning, Ensign Claggett will report to flight school in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Chris Colandini attended University of San Diego, majoring in industrial and systems engineering and minoring in naval science. Following commissioning, Ensign Colandini will report to flight school in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Justin Douse attended University of San Diego, majoring in industrial and systems engineering and minoring in naval science. Following commissioning, Ensign Douse will report to flight school in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Donovan Duvall attended University of San Diego, majoring in mechanical engineering and minoring in naval science. Following commissioning, Ensign Duvall will report to DDG 64 USS Kearney in Mayport, Florida. Ensign Soraya Marzuki attended University of San Diego, majoring in mechanical engineering and minoring in naval science. Following commissioning, Ensign Marzuki will report to flight school in Pensacola, Florida. Ensign Daniel McCoy attending University of San Diego, majoring in business administration and minoring in naval science. Following commissioning, Ensign McCoy will report to DDG 88 USS Preble in San Diego, California. Ensign Jacob Michael attending University of San Diego, majoring in electrical engineering, minoring in naval science, and graduating magna cum laude. Following commissioning, Ensign Michael will report to LCS 26, USS Mobile in San Diego, California. Ensign Gabriel Payot, attending University of San Diego, majoring in electrical engineering, minoring in mathematics and naval science. Following commissioning, Ensign Payot will report to Nuclear Power School in Charleston, South Carolina. Ensign Brandon Reisig, attending University of San Diego, majoring in industrial and systems engineering, minoring in naval science, and graduating cum laude. Following commissioning, Ensign Reisig will report to Dive School in Panama City, Florida. Ensign George Stamatopoulos, attending University of San Diego, majoring in political science and minoring in naval science. Following commissioning, Ensign Stamatopoulos will report to DDG 118 USS Daniel Inouye in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Second Lieutenant Mark Chilton, attended San Diego State University, majoring in finance and graduating cum laude. Following commissioning, Second Lieutenant Chilton will report to the Basic School in Quantico, Virginia. Second Lieutenant Charles Brodeur, attending University of San Diego, majoring in electrical engineering, minoring in mathematics and naval science, and got a Master's of Science in Cybersecurity Engineering and graduating magna cum laude. Following commissioning, Second Lieutenant Brodeur will report to the Basic School in Quantico, Virginia. Second Lieutenant Eugene Finucchi, attended San Diego State University, majoring in Africana Studies, minoring in engineering. Following commissioning, Second Lieutenant Finucchi will report to the Basic School in Quantico, Virginia. Second Lieutenant Ara Melkonian, attended San Diego State University, majoring in Business Administration with an emphasis on management, minoring in finance, and graduating cum laude. Following commissioning, Second Lieutenant Melkonian will report to the Basic School in Quantico, Virginia. Second Lieutenant Sean Mucaria, attended San Diego State University, majoring in statistics, emphasis in data science, minoring in mathematics, and graduating magna cum laude. Following commissioning, Second Lieutenant Mucaria will report to the Basic School in Quantico, Virginia. Second Lieutenant David Powell, attended California State University, San Marcos, majoring in Business Administration, Finance. Following commissioning,
Ready, see.
I present the newest ensigns and second lieutenants of the United States Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force. On behalf of the President of the National Defense Industrial Association San Diego chapter, Rear Admiral Stamatopoulos will recognize the top Navy and Marine graduate with a sword. This year's recipients of the prestigious awards are Ensign Reisig, Second Lieutenant Mucaria. The National Defense Industrial Association is a nonpartisan, nonprofit international association whose membership consists of approximately 900 companies and 26,000 individuals from government and the entire spectrum of the defense and national industrial base. NDIA's mission is to provide a legal and ethical forum for the interchange of ideas between government and industry on industrial issues of joint concern. NDIA San Diego chapter believes the future of America's military strength is in the leaders who will guide the young men and women of our armed forces into the years ahead. Accordingly, the chapter is proud to present a dress sword or saber to the top graduate of each of our units, passing to them this traditional symbol of leadership and the responsibility to lead future generations of airmen, soldiers, sailors, and Marines. Congratulations to the awardees. At this time, the Marine Corps Second Lieutenants will be presented with their Marine Officer's Sword. The Marine Officer's Sword is known as the Mameluke. It is named after the Mamelukes who evolved from Turkish slave soldiers in the 11th century to become rulers of Egypt. In 1805, First Lieutenant Presley O'Bannon, U.S. Marine Corps, led a valiant expedition of 8 Marines, 1 midshipman, and 10 mercenaries to restore the rightful but deposed ruler of Tripoli to his throne. After a 600-mile march across the Sahara Desert, O'Bannon's team reached and successfully stormed the fortress at Derna, Tripoli. For his commendable actions and inspiring leadership, First Lieutenant O'Bannon was personally awarded the sword of the governor of Derna. The Mamelukes presented to today's new second lieutenants symbolize Lieutenant O'Bannon's prize and are required to be worn by all Marine officers. Captain Jeremiah Dye, Marine Officer Instructor of NROTC San Diego, will present a Mameluke sword to each of our new Marine second lieutenants.